Greetings to the honorable jury panel. We are going to bestow our document on the famous architect Achyut Kanvinde, who worked predominantly with the elements of brutalism and regionalism. His famous book Akar is one of the monograph in his life and professional career spanning over 5 decades. Kanvinde sir was born in 1916 in a small village on the Konkan coast. He entered the architecture department at Sir J.J. School of Art. Further, he studied at the Harvard University where he worked under the prominent architects. He was remunerated with Padma Shri for his splendid works and served as the president of IIA from 1974 to 75. He always promoted vernacular architecture by playing with space and forms. Falling six headers are the pieces of his cake that he followed while designing. Those are functionalism, logic of lightness, modern architecture and brutalism, regionalism, rationalism, and sense of space. Following is the list of Kanvinde sir's well-known works. As Kanvinde sir is celebrated as the father of campus planning in India, we opted to do a case study on the IIT Kanpur. Situated in Uttar Pradesh, the site spreads around 1,000 acres with the site being almost flat and got going from 1959.
Here are the 6 basic principles that he incorporated in the IIT Kanpur, namely indigenous, unique, welcoming and safe, integrated, vibrant and lastly sustainable. The details of these are given on the right side. Along with the Kanvinde sir's philosophies, he integrated the heterogeneous campus design and Bauhaus style, which recommended cubical, asymmetrical forms and simplistic surfaces of the structure. Envisioned as a self-contained residential campus capable of growth, it had to be planned as an integrated urban environment, which would fulfill the needs of living and studying. Coming to the campus designing of IIT, the site's entry is from the east side. Kanvinde sir segregated roads in the major and minor type along the cardinal direction, which subdivided the site and separated vehicular and pedestrian traffic. In the master plan, we can see the peripheral areas are dedicated to the staff and students accommodations, and in the center there is an academic area and school along with green patches. Though the residences are near the road but has been compromised to the academic block as students require silence and the peace in their educational domain. The site is bifurcated into 3 sections. Purple color depicts roads, yellow hatch shows the students' accommodations and its traffic flow towards the academic area, and the blue color indicates the academic staff residences. This segregation is done to create different environment to the user of the campus. This is the detail of the academic area, wherein all the different department blocks are placed diversely as per functions and can witness the road network for the cars and their parking allotment near to the structures, so as to keep in mind the barrier-free design. The pedestrian pathways and the corridors are not cut off by the roads, hence limits the threats.
The passive architecture features are followed by IIT Kanpur in the path of Griha. The climatic zone of Kanpur is warm and temperate. Hence, he optimized orientation and architectural design to maximize comfort by reaching hard paving on the side and minimizing side circulation to 20-minute walking radius by providing corridors instead of sunstroking the humans. He drew attention to the safety of the workers and amended the material selection and openings on the building. As the Kanpur's wind comes from south or west, the openings and water bodies are directed here. To lower the temperature, this cool air then passes through the internal corridor and escapes out from the ventilator, making a habitable environment. Also, energy savers are used throughout the campus that are efficient light and sanitary fixtures. Focused on the shading devices and various window openings to provide daylight engagement as per the north-south orientation of the building. Also, deliberation of rainwater harvesting and soil erosion was dealt by him, hence checklists the sustainability principle. As Kanvinde sir retained vegetation on the site, he engulfed the physical feature into the buildings by setbacking the first floor in response to the existing tree, and this tree acts as a natural sound barrier.
He followed his brutalism practice here in the library and introduced split level corridor system for circulation, so as to avoid the Kanpur heat yet allowing cool breezes to the traveler. These images shows facilities provided to the user and the visual expression of the structures are witnessed. This is an analysis of the percentage of softscape and hardscape. 40% of the site is with green land. He used cement and sandstone for the floors of the pavement and surrounded the pedestrian corridors with trees of high visual weight. we can demonstrate the focal point of academic building, which is the fountain, with other landscape elements which are complementing the elevation of the cement blocks and exposed brickwork as the materials. The pathways are elevated and covered and connected to each of the floor of the departments to give inside-out feeling to the user. To summarize the landscape details, nearly 60,000 trees are there on the site, and there is a checklist of all the materials and hardscape elements used in the IIT Kanpur, which are sculptures, water bodies, sitting places, etc.
The takeaway points are here spelled out. The campus has been beautifully designed with sustainable features and merges with the natural environment. The main focus of the campus is the central pedestrian island. This is surrounded by lush greenery and a huge water body. Efficient zoning of buildings are achieved for easy and quick circulation and for the better interaction. These are the appraisals of the users who visited the area, which shows 5-star rating. Convince Sir's career spanned a period of about 50 years. The 3 highlighting orbits of circle says that he advocated asymmetry as he believed the form and space of a building should be a result of the interior space, and gave utmost importance to the natural light and made sure his designs were naturally ventilated. Lastly, there is a strong presence of simplicity in facade treatment and the elimination of unnecessary elements. Thank you and have a good day.
Achyut Kanvinde, a functionalist, was an Indian architect known for adding elements of brutalism in his buildings. He was a pioneer of modern architecture. His designs experimented with simple geometrical shapes that imbibed fluidity, giving the building a voice. He was born in the year 1916, Achara, Maharashtra. He did his B.Arch in Sir J.J. School of Arts, Mumbai, and later went on to do his masters in Harvard University in the year 1945. He was influenced by Claude Bartlett for his functionalism and Walter Gropius for his use of space. Gropius' use of space as a tool to express human values is that inspired him the most. Design philosophy. Functionalism. Buildings were conceived with utmost priority given to its function as well as social values of the design space. His practice rejected symmetry. Modern architecture and brutalism. His buildings were characterized by minimalist construction that showcased raw building materials as well as structural elements. He believed it was a visual expression of the building and opposed hiding it. Regionalism. His buildings were influenced by the local climate, social conditions, and locally available materials. His designs adhered to climatological principles. He believed that a grid of columns forming a matrix giving structural and spatial aspects would turn a design more sophisticated and faceted. He played with space and form. His designs are slender, balanced, proportionate, neat, and well crafted. The porch and staircase were given emphasis in his buildings. Natural light was given utmost priority. The form of the building solved the problem of ventilation as well as excessive heat through covered verandas, walkways, and staircases. He believed in vernacular architecture. He was the opinion that values and historic influences bestowed upon good architecture. A timeline of his work between 1954 to 1966. He designed Physical Research Laboratory, Ahmedabad, Ahmedabad Textile Industries Research Association, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Hari Vallabh Das House, Ahmedabad, Gandhi Krishi Vigyan Kendra, Bangalore, IIT Kanpur campus. Between 1973 to 1985, he designed Dodhsagar Dairy, Mehsana, Institute of Rural Management, Anand, Nehru Science Center, Mumbai, National Science Center, New Delhi. Between 1992 to 1998, he designed National Insurance Academy, Pune, ISKCON Temple, east of Kailash, Delhi. Lifetime achievements of A.T. Kanvinde. He was awarded Padma Shri in 1976, President IIA 1974 to 75, co-authored book Campus Design in India, IIA's Baburao Mathuri Gold Medal for Lifetime Achievement in 1985, Great Masters Award from JK Industries Limited in 1993. IIT Kanpur. IIT Kanpur is located on the Grand Trunk Road, 15 km west of Kanpur city and measures close to 420 hectares. This land was gifted by the government of Uttar Pradesh in 1960 and by March 1963, the institute had moved to its current location. The IIT Kanpur campus occupies a 1,055-acre area. The academic complex is located centrally at the site and free from traffic noise. The site is flat with a canal on one side and transportation route on the other side. The residential campus is planned and landscaped with the hope of environmental freedom. Halls of residence, faculty and staff houses, and community buildings surround the central academic area to provide flexibility in movement and communication, taking into consideration the reality that research work in the present of time is a collaborative work of disciplines. Curriculum of studies is worked out with that goal in mind. The Bohus influence in Kanvinde style is clearly visible in the buildings of IIT Kanpur. Cubic shapes, smooth flat plane undecorated surfaces, complete elimination of all moldings and ornament, flat roofs. Reveals the internal functions in a building as separate masses arranged in a ways that were functional from inside and elegant from outside. Kanvindes strongly believe that the elevation of a structure should be defined by the functions inside. Conclusion. His works are generally raw and unemotional, yet he managed to make his designs appealing and welcoming. His designs were distinct and unique, and yet having one thing similar, that is functionalism. His designs appear to be built with a large amount of thought have been given to making them functionally efficient and practically feasible. Conventional type of buildings were designed as isolated islands of departments. Activities which students and faculties share are designed to encourage meeting and interaction.
Isn't that a beautiful sentence? A building represents that part of truth that belongs to architecture.
India's greatest architect. That was the title given to Charles Correa when he was alive. In the career spanning 5 decades, he designed over 100 buildings with a design style that spoke to and for the people. He is an inspiration for many architects, teaching them what modernism could mean for India. But the legacy of this man goes much beyond just architecture. So today, let's uncover his story.
Charles Mark Correa, one of India's most imaginative architects and urban planner, was born on the 1st September 1930 in Sikandarabad. He was always into sketching and exploring things. Charles began his studies at University of Mumbai's St. Xavier's College before moving on to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor and the MIT in Cambridge. He started his architecture practice in Mumbai and later went on to work on projects worldwide. His early work incorporated traditional architectural elements. His work was distinguished by standard symmetrical rooms, modernist use of materials, distinctive concrete forms and location. Charles Correa never attempted to reproduce the vernacular or traditional architectural components, but rather took the core of these ideas and changed them in the setting using his thorough knowledge of cultural values and history. Correa began his work as an urban planner in the late 1960s, designing New Bombay. Even though he was schooled in the West, he was not interested in international style and modernism.
Coming back to the video, by developing climatic solutions for different sites and programs, architect Charles Correa designed the Kanchenjunga apartment located in Mumbai. The Kanchenjunga apartment, a direct response to the present culture, the escalating urbanization and the climatic condition for the region. The building is 32-story reinforced concrete structure with 6.3 meter cantilever open terraces. In Mumbai, building has to be oriented east-west to catch prevailing sea breezes and to open up the best use of the city. The central core is composed of lifts and provides the main structural element for resisting lateral loads. The central core was constructed ahead of the main structure by slip method of construction. This technique is used for the first time in India for multi-storied building. The garden terraces of the Kanchenjunga apartment are actually a modern interpretation of a feature of the traditional Indian bungalow, the veranda. Charles Correa mainly worked on the sectional displacement by bringing changes in the floor surfaces. He applied cellular planning by using interlocks in 1.5 story, 3 and 4 bedroom units with 2.5 story, 5 and 6 bedroom units. The views, one different from others, some claiming, some an inspiration to its resident. The stories, the silence when the city sleeps, the noise, the breeze, Kanchenjunga apartment from being a structure is an experience within itself. As a student of architecture, we understand that how he implemented traditional architectural elements and how we can project it in our future design. His deep analysis on climate statistic helps us to understand how to deal with climate responsive architecture. What makes his design more special is his idea about giving open to sky element in the building for reduction of heat waves entering in it. Following are the 7 principles of Charles Correa: open to sky spaces, incrementality, pluralism, participation, equity, disaggregation. Highly climatic responsive buildings caters to the socio-economic needs which range from low-income, high-density housing to entire township. He pays special attention to air ventilation and to provide human living environments. Due to high population of Mumbai, he designed low-cost houses. He designed buildings that were used by a wide variety of public, people of different caste, religion, rich or poor.
Charles went on to create a lot of beautiful projects in his lifetime: the Inter-University Centre for Astrology and Astrophysics and the British Council. And not just in India, his designs cross borders when he created buildings like Permanent Mission to the UN in the New York, the Neuroscience Center at the MIT, and the Champlimont Foundation Center in Lisbon. In the year 1984, Charles Correa was awarded the Royal Gold Medal by RIBA, or Royal Institute of British Architects, and it was at this time that he was named India's greatest architect.
We are looking at the life and design of Charles Correa. Charles Mark Correa was born on 1st September 1930 in Sikandarabad. In 1949, he decided to pursue architecture at the University of Michigan and later masters at the MIT, or Massachusetts University of Technology. Now studying in West, he was undoubtedly exposed to works of architects like Le Corbusier, Louis Kahn. So he wanted to create modern buildings. In 1958, he came back to India to establish his own practice. Apartment. The Kanchenjunga apartment is located in southwest of downtown Mumbai, in an upscale suburban city. The apartment units rely on cross bridges from the nearby waterfront for cooling down the interior spaces. It has a great deal of transparency and has been achieved by the use of large openings and terrace gardens on every floor. With the concrete structure and large areas of white panels, thus strong resembles to the modern apartment building in West.
On 16th May 2018, Balkrishna Vittaldas Doshi or B.V. Doshi receives the Pritzker Prize. At the age of 90, it served more like a lifetime award for him. The first Indian to ever receive a Pritzker Prize. In a career spanning about 7 decades, Doshi has completed more than 100 projects. The life of this man is as inspiring as his built works. The IIM campus design manifests us as highly original, imaginative architects, fond of architecture as he is of life and Indian values. Doshi imagined the IIM campus as a distinctive traditional Indian architecture that would effortlessly adopt the local environment and circumstances. The idea was to represent the ethos, green and alive of the town. The architect B.V. Doshi achieved his vision by linking a network of corridors, courtyards and external spaces, allowing for future extensions. The management required B.V. Doshi to build a campus that replicates the town itself. Exactly that and much more did Doshi. Even inside the classrooms, one can literally see and experience nature. The designer wanted the IIM campus to be an educational hub that encourages safe, open discussions between students and faculty. What makes the complex so different and special is that the gardens were picked up and set in B.V. Doshi's courtyard. You do not find dry and rigid courtyards, but rather green corridors that encourages intellectual exchange outside the classrooms. An unpredictable series of events that characterize the beautiful amorphous space inside the IIM Bangalore campus is created by integrating the constructed space and the landscape with life. Doshi's work has consistently revolved around the interrelationship of indoor and outdoor spaces. B.V. Doshi believed that the campus located inside the Garden City of India should reflect the same concept. Doshi referred to the complex as Bazaar of Educations. One can experience weaving of indoor and outdoor spaces with transitional spaces. The functions are organized within this orthogonal plan, punctuated with gardens, spaces for pause, spaces for chance encounters and informal notes. Staircase connecting these corridors to lecture halls, meeting rooms and other ancillary spaces serve as transitions. The overall spatial arrangement, constructed as a polynebular plan, relies on a series of intersecting corridors that form the fundamental skeletal framework. A pattern of outdoor and indoor spaces of plan echoes intermingling spaces of Fatehpur Sikri and its construction into modern structural system and arrangement. A series of spatial interactions relies on the unveiling of the IIM to an observer. Multiple threshold conditions are created by the overall movement sequence from one campus to the semi-open corridors, the lush, and eventually to the more enclosed and protected areas. The two primary materials Vividoshi chose for composing the structures are hand-chipped granite and concrete. The landscape's ability to interpose with the constructed form allows the building to create soft, loosely formed edges. Hand-chipped granite and concrete are the two primary materials that compose the space. Vividoshi's ingenuity enables him to manipulate light to his harmony and give the occupants and guests amazing moments. You will never find a boring moment at the IIM complex. So, the design considerations through campus are interactive spaces and activity for users and staff. Also, the clustering and development pattern of land.
We never notice light. We just assume it. But when an object is created around it, it creates a nuance. It is an effort. Each step of the ladder is different. But with each step, you gain a new perspective. Not just see and admire nature, inhale it. Experience comes first, form much later. Create a bond, a sense of belonging, not just with the physical form, but with eyes, with sound, with senses, and then the landscape will begin to appear. The question I asked, what was important? Was it the form of the building or the content, the space? Look around. Every object around us, the nature itself, lights, sky, water, stone, everything is in a symphony. And this symphony is what architecture is all about. My work is the story of my life, continuously evolving, changing and searching. Searching to take away the word architecture and look only at life.
earthy, sustainable, unbiased. A style of architecture that is synonymous to the works of Lawrence Wilfred Baker, a British Indian architect whose designs were adored and admired by millions of people. The legacy of this man goes beyond architecture. His story is not only about his architecture but also about his beliefs and values as a human being. He was born in 1917 in a staunch Methodist family. In his teens, Baker began to question what religion meant to him and decided to become a Quaker. Baker studied architecture at the Birmingham Institute of Art and Design and graduated in 1937, a period of political unrest in Europe. After graduation, he was sent to China as a trained paramedic in 1941. The intensely difficult job took a toll on his health and he was asked to return to home in England. But fate took a hand in delaying his departure for about 3 months as he waited in Bombay. During this time, Baker met Gandhi and was inspired by Gandhi's suggestion that he returns to India and serve the Indian poor. During 1945, he moved to India and began to work in leprosy center buildings. Soon he met Elizabeth Jacob, a young doctor from Kerala, and eventually got married in 1948. The Bakers lived in Pithaurgarh for 16 years and moved to Trivandrum in 1963 and settled there. After moving to Kerala, Baker practiced architecture full-time and created the most defining works of his career. While at Pithaurgarh, Baker realized that his English construction education was inadequate for the issues he faced with termites and yearly monsoon in India. He had no choice but to observe and learn from the methods and practices of vernacular architecture. He adopted local craftsmanship, traditional techniques and materials, but then combined it with modern design principles. This helped local architecture to retain its cultural identity and revived the local economy. Laurie Baker had a signature style in designing low-cost, high-quality, beautiful homes suited and built for his underprivileged clients. His prominent features were brick masonry, instilling privacy and evoking history with brickwork, a perforated brick screen which invites natural airflow and cools the building's interiors. Another feature is irregular pyramid-like structures and roofs. Curved walls entered his architectural vocabulary as a means to enclose more volume at lower material cost. Some other features of his works are use of recycled materials, airy corridors and courtyards, which magnify the genuine nature of the site and creating harmony between nature and built forms. Baker advocated the use of energy-efficient buildings that were sustainable and cost-effective. He used rat-trap bonds for brick walls, thin concrete roofs, and simpler construction techniques. He was inspired by the tremendous character of a wall made of 1,000 bricks and experimented with raw textures of stone, concrete, wood, and brick. The design that is the utmost illustration of Baker's architecture is the Center of Development Studies, Trivandrum. The 10-acre, highly populated site comprises the library, auditorium, computer center, residential houses, hostels, etc. The focal point is the administrative building of the campus. The other building elements, such as offices, classrooms, are dispersed along the contours of the site and yet strongly united through airy corridors and courtyards with attractive landscape. Laurie Baker designed nearly 3,500 houses in his career of 50 years and died at an age of 90 on April 1, 2007. He is still remembered and his works still studied because his structures have the ability to unite. They have the tendency of creating a sense of vitality and harmlessness.
Use of different shapes and forms collaborated in a single entity along with intricate designs of brickwork is a remarkable feature of his design. The spiritual approach and earthy feels within his spaces created a divine experience for the users. Savings on energy needs of a structure can be regulated by the use of vernacular architecture. The concept of sustainability is a major concern of the present architecture but was achieved justifiably by Baker since a long time.
He was a democrat, a humanist, but above all, an architect and an artist.
any project, we ask ourselves two questions: for whom and where, and by whom and how. This helps us to keep our architectural and ecological intent intact. Humans have always bettered the situation they are in. It's high time now that the businesses adopt a path with purpose to help the environment.
Chitra Vishwanath is a notable Indian architect based in Bangalore. She has been running her own architectural firm since 1991. Her works are mostly themes related to ecology and architecture. She studied for Diploma in Civil Engineering from Nigeria and Bachelor of Architecture degree from the CEPT, University in Ahmedabad. She was the Charles Corey Academic Chair at Goa College of Architecture, a program established by the state government of Goa. Department of Art and Culture at the Goa College of Architecture to honor the memory of Charles Correa in 2018 and a design mentor at NITTE Mangalore in 2019. She was also a member of the jury at the 2A Continental Architectural Awards in Madrid 2019 and the Asia edition of YTAA 2020 conducted by Fundació Mies van der Barcelona. Chitra chose to focus her architectural practice on reducing the ecological footprint of her buildings and on building affordable homes for the common man in Bangalore. Her career and her work reflects deeply of her journey of learning and respect and love she and her husband have for ecology. She is married to S. Vishwanath, a civil engineer specializing in water harvesting, structures and water management. Serendipitous beginnings with inspirations from Laurie Baker. Laurie Baker, the English architect, had already done a lot of work in low-cost building using bricks and residents in Bangalore were asking for similar work. Chitra studied Baker's approach and techniques and ventured to explore the same. She further preferred to use the mud block building using research being done by the Center of ASTRA, Applications of Science and Technology for Rural Areas, since largely the soil available in Bangalore was well suited for such construction. Mud forms the basic element in architectural designs because of its easy availability, labor intensiveness and ease of construction. In order to promote her theme of mud architecture of buildings as an environmentally sound proposition, Vishwanath built her own mud house in the area of 135 square meters in Bangalore. The unique feature of this aesthetically planned house is that it does not provide for air conditioning or fans and is built with several levels. The walls made with mud bricks do not have any plaster finish. Water heating is provided by solar panels, partial electricity by photovoltaics and water harvesting facility provided for about 70% of the water requirements. The EcoSan toilet has a facility to segregate solid and liquid waste. Terrace is used to treat grey water through plants and the water so treated is used for flushing in the terrace garden. The terrace also has a biomass heater which is used for heating water in the cold cloudy days. Some of her notable projects are Jan Olof Eco House located in Wada, Maharashtra, a type of residential house. Paper Workshop located in Bangalore, Karnataka, a type of commercial use building. Her projects for hospitality type of building include Poland Easted Biome located in Kolakombai, Tamil Nadu. Old Clubhouse by Chitra Vishwanath located in Bangalore, Karnataka. Her projects for educational buildings in Bangalore are Swastika Dance School and Buddhi School. Buddhi School located in Bangalore, Karnataka encourages inclusive education and children with special abilities are welcomed and cared for. The school thus needed to be completely accessible. The school's intake is kept very low and total occupancy is 200 children. Various kinds of harvesting and wastewater treatment structures were put in place. These two connected with the land features. In the softer part, a larger 1 lakh liter capacity underground water tank was built which harvests all of the rainwater from terrace from where it is used for cooking and drinking purposes. The top of this underground tank forms part of the floor of dining area. All of the water from the island is channeled, filtered and collected in the another underground tank in northeast of the land. This water is used very sparingly for some of the plants around the kindergarten wing. The site size is close to 0.43 acres and partly rocky. It was decided that the existing rock to be constructed on so as to keep the foundation cost low as well as to leave the soft earth as a play area. The building material used for walling is compressed earth block and for floors and roofs, conventional RCC, CEBs were made at the site. with soil sourced from the basement of large apartment complex under construction about 5 kilometers away. The greatly reduced material footprint. The northeast side of the building was left open, which provided advantages in letting the morning sun into the classrooms. The building was planned such that the lengthwise it faces the south side and west side. This allowed having a shaded courtyard and open spaces which could facilitate outdoor activities. This planning at the built level also helped us catch the prevailing winds inside the classrooms, along with the insertion of CEB jalis at the students' body level. Introduction of jali in the combination with fixed and operable steel windows brought down the cost of construction. In the classroom of the first floor, skylights are provided above the blackboard and they are raised to allow for escape of hot air and enhance cross.
Nari Gandhi was an Indian architect known for his highly innovative work in organic architecture. Nariman Dosabhai Gandhi was born in 1934 in Surat to a Zoroastrian Parsi family from Bombay, now Mumbai. He completed his schooling at St. Xavier's High School and studied architecture at Sir J.J. College of Architecture, Mumbai for 5 years in early 1950s. Then he travelled to USA to apprentice with Frank Lloyd Wright at the Taliesin and spent 5 years there. After Wright's death in 1959, Nari left Taliesin and studied pottery at the Kent State University for 2 years. After his return, he continued to work on Wright's ideology of organic architecture along with the concept of a flowing space, and further developed his own unique style with a subtle influence of local climate and culture. Brick arches, buttresses, and stone masonry are some of the recurring elements in most of his built forms. He worked without an office and spent a lot of time on the sites, working closely with the craftsmen and often participated in the construction process himself. He had once famously said that the reality of architecture is not contained in the roof and walls, but in the space within it. Some of his projects include Daud Shoe House, Gobhai Mountain Lodge, Jain Bungalow, Korlai Bungalow, Tungarli Bungalow, and Revdananda House. He ignored the current mainstream's ideal of a building as a self-fulfilling prophecy and built that which could not be envisioned. His buildings occurred as conversations.
Eccentric genius, talent gone wide, even crazy, but he was not crazy. It's the world around him that was. Let's uncover his story. So today we are looking at the life and design of Nariman Doshabhai Gandhi. Nari Gandhi was born on 2nd Jan 1934, Surat, India, into an Zoroastrian Parsi family from Bombay. He completed his schooling at St. Xavier's and thereafter joined Sir J.J. College of Architecture in mid-50. Design philosophy of Nari Gandhi. Organic architecture responding to the climate, context, and deeply rooted to the site and its surroundings. His work displayed highly skilled craftsmanship. Sunlight and wind were the main character that animated the built spaces. There was an extensive use of brick arches, stone, masonry, and buttresses.
These are some iconic projects of Nari Gandhi.
Nari Gandhi took inspiration from nature for his work and also appreciated the role of landscape. There were no boundaries to his structures.
Let's see one of his best building, that is Jain Bungalow, Lonavala, which is constructed from 1989 to 92. It is located in Lonavala, Maharashtra, India. The Jain Bungalow in Lonavala, with its stepped sectional profile, is designed to blend with its surroundings. It includes native plants and allow for the plants to grow along the wall of the house to further the concept of balancing between humans and nature. Instead of using geometrical brick shapes, he used stones of all the sizes and shapes for the construction of exterior of the bungalow. It is located on a sloping site and surrounded by the mountains. It is designed to blend with the terrace gardens which situated above the entry level and it sloped downwards. Bungalow consists of total 9 rooms, that is prayer room, living room, card room, a kitchen and dining area and 4 bedrooms. The staircase in the house, which are 600 m wide, straight flight staircase which is designed into living room and runs centrally through the house. It divides into 2 parts with room flanking each side on different levels. Dormer windows overlook the landscaping around the bungalow and it usually connects to the room. He opted for interesting shapes for the windows, preferring oblong and circular windows instead of traditional rectangular shapes. There are internal courtyards on different levels, which are covered with transparent corrugated roofing sheets, which blind, stepped and disconnected arrangement of the independent room. Studs which are radiating from the ground level to support deep roof overhang. Metal trusses emerge from the stone masonry wall to support the massive roofs. Takeaway points from his design. Structure is nature friendly. Material plays an important role in his design. Design according to the climatic condition and also with the consideration to topography. Displayed whole structure as organic character. He is breaking stereotype by not making parallel structure and rectangular openings.
Nari Gandhi's simplicity and gentle nature were transcended into his work. He broke away from normal practices and defined architecture for himself and the world. He believed in the idea of nature taking control rather than the architect, and probably why he was the one of the greatest architect of his time.
Consideration of human scale, institutional integrity, regional influence, and conviviality helps create a connection between the built environment and its user. The design display the benefit of incorporating these principles and how they invoke a positive response from their user. He states, one structure may follow all the laws of design, yet worthless, while still another may be all the principle and be profound. He who thinks architecture is a curious craft, he the man behind great institution of architecture, CEPT. He is Christopher Benninger. Born in Ohio, US, he studied urban planning at MIT and architecture at Harvard. Turning point of Benninger's life was when he was 14 to 15-year-old. He received a book as a gift. It was called The Natural Light of F.L. Wright. And it wasn't the picture in that book, but it was the philosophy in that book which affected him and turned him to become an architect. On the invitation of B.V. Doshi in 1971, he resigned from his tenured post at Harvard and shifted in Ahmedabad, India, as a Ford Foundation advisor to the Ahmedabad Educational Society. When you move through a space designed by Professor Christopher, you are made to experience honesty in expression, critical regionalism, balance with tradition, balance with community. He was confident enough that he opened a studio, CCBA. The significant projects are CDSA Pune, Samudra Institute Lonavala, Suzlon Vanat Pune, and the most celebrated project, Mahindra United World College.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
The most celebrated project, Mahindra United World College in Western Sahyadri near Pune, Maharashtra.
The buildings are a reflection of the mountains surrounding the campus, a kind of miniature model reflecting the jagged contours. But they are also like village. Managers choose to break down the scale and articulate the units as in a small town. Managers center the plan of this highly diverse little world around a quadrangle with a passage radiating out of it. The admin, science center, amphitheater, and a multipurpose hall are placed along the north-south axis, and the cafeteria, library, and art center are laid out along the east-west axis with sets view for the sunrise and sunset. The hierarchy is created in the campus plans, housing parts where the residential villages has a central student center, medical facility, and amenities like a walking mall. In academic quadrangle, it encircles a garden court. Quadrangle and classrooms are linked by glass doors, so each classroom is connected to its own garden or courtyard. The three corner rooms in the academic quadrangle are the facility rooms for language, mathematics, and social science respectively. The quadrangle is linked by an encircling low covered walkway. This space is detached from the stone walls except where it connects to classroom. Catering center is a triangular waffle slab was designed to avoid columns. Verandas and service area allow more variety in a complex angular composition. A sloping mangled tiled roof and a ventilation. The philosophies of Professor Christopher that reflects in these projects are the structure suggests an alternative approach to the postmodernist style in architecture with its local use of material and explore regional architecture. The structure holds a strong cultural and geographical context with its progressive design approach that is melded between global and local language of architecture. Learnings that we get from Professor Christopher Benninger. Curiosity should be the priority in architecture. As people who do things and make things, we should be asking many questions whose answer would temper our thoughts, ideas, and design. Stress on the importance of user experience as an ultimate goal to create successful building. We are supposed to be designing a transforming culture and tempering the structure and nature of civilization. Our tiny gestures hold vast implication on mankind.
give my feedback about this all the presentation. Before that, I would like to thanks JNEC College, MIT College for taking the initiative and encouraging students to participate in this competition. पूरा प्रेजेंटेशन देखने के बाद में मेरी जो चीज़ समझ में आ रही है कि स्टूडेंट समझ नहीं पाए कि उनको क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है. दे वर मोर फोकस ऑन जस्ट टू ऐड द फोटोग्राफ्स और थोड़ा सा उसको प्रेजेंटेबल करने की कोशिश की है, लेकिन उसमें कंटेंट क्या होने चाहिए, उसमें केस स्टडीज, इनफैक्ट पूरा फ्रेमवर्क काफ़ी अच्छा मतलब ड्राफ्ट करके दिया हुआ था, मतलब ना ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जिन्होंने मतलब कॉम्पिटिशन ऑर्गेनाइज की है, लेकिन उस फ्रेमवर्क में काफ़ी कम स्टूडेंट्स का वर्क मुझे लगा है. मुझे जो लगता है पर्सनली कि स्टूडेंट्स को थोड़ा सा जो कम्युनिकेशन टूल्स जो है मतलब उसको थोड़ा सा शार्प करना चाहिए. रेस्ट इज ओके मीन्स बाकी कौन मतलब इसके बारे में कुछ कमेंट करनी है.
Both MIT and JNEC for promoting the students for this competition. Again, catching over from where Purushottam sir has left over. So basically, design philosophy of an architect and his design approach, how it is linked and how it is found in the case studies. What is the student learning from this? How is he transforming his philosophy into his designs and then how that is being experienced in a case study. That is what would have been a better presentation if made. So inferences could be drawn. What is the contribution that the architect has made to public and the entire scenario as such. Thank you.
We thank IIA for basically understanding there is a need for presentation of such kind of tools instead of basically typical drawings. This is a more perfect medium for communicating in a short time, and it is not about MIT or JNC. It's a collective effort that we have to put for such presentations or such events to happen frequently. Beyond that, I really appreciate that students tried their best to accommodate all these extracurricular activities in their separate time. And as he said, we need more such events. But rather than interactive has to be there, what has to be, there has to be scope. A lot of things basically people don't understand what should be left and what should be taken in 5 minutes. So this is the first attempt. We would say this is a very great work for first attempt. And I would like everybody present here for contributing to this event. Thank you.
I really initially congratulate the brain behind this competition and thank students for participating in it. I guess the basic motive behind this competition is to analyze some legendary architects from students' perspective and what are their takeaway points or what are their learnings from the case studies. So I guess many of the students have tried well and hope that all the students will carry forward these messages in their designs in the practice. Thank you.
Thank IIA for giving this opportunity to both the colleges and bringing both the colleges together on one platform, the students to present their work. As sir said, I would like to share the challenges which we had. Although we started off with giving them the work and the presentation, we saw that we had to work a lot with them to improvise them. This is not their first attempt that we are seeing. In fact, Shivani had taken a lot of pains and we made them revise, redo work 3 to 4 times and then they were able to come up to this level. So it was a very nice attempt and I feel it was a great encouragement for the students. And in the future, they will be knowing now better how and what needs to be presented at which level and which stage. And they have learnt a lot from this and I'm sure they will inculcate the learnings from this into their upcoming projects and works that they are going to do. Thank you once again, IIA, for giving this lovely opportunity to the students.
I have a request. I would really request that तुम्ही प्रत्येक मला सांगा बेसिकली नेमकं अपेक्षित काय करावं काय लागतं काय होतं इन जनरल वरून होत नसतं जर तुम्ही 1-to-1 जर सांगितलं नाही खूप फरक आणि ह्यांचं जर काही काम केलं ना आय रिली थिंक दिस इज रिली ग्रेट वर्क ॲट इनिशियल स्टेज या स्टेजपासून त्यांनी सुरुवात केली आहे इट्स अ लॉंग वे जर्नी आणि
it was a one-to-one interaction because it would not have been possible. This was their first time. Third year ने किया.
Actually, see, students in the college academically they start with something called as concept. Sir, मेरा ये concept है ये वो. That is what we always see in the juries or not. But when it comes to practical, when you go into profession, how do you really manifest all these concepts, the philosophies, into design and then through case studies on the set? So it is directly academics to professional.
That's too early stage for them.
No, but then still they will actually.
They had 2 subjects. What we did was they had 2 subjects.
In all, it is a very good work done by them. Only thing is a brief.
Sir,
what we should do next time.
History and
a few of us go there
we have an elective
and we also give them some input.
Yeah, of course.
Because right now only the staff gave some input. But probably it should be next time we will
more
do it somewhere. Some professionals also go there
professionals.
and give some
And
inputs
this is a
initial
work of
stage.
4-5 days. Matlab, even though they had
That's
been
when-
given
when-
time
when-
earlier,
when-
they started off late. We had to give that push also, which was not there.
Even ma'am, with Janice, it was just 1 day's work because they were having their midterm exams and then we made them compulsory to give entries.
We had to do
for
that.
this,
For this completion.
Really
We kept the marks of submission for this. Then we were able to get it.
Definitely good attempt by all the students of JNEC and MIT, and quite happy with the performances. This will improve definitely next year with some more input from our side too, and briefing to them when they are working on it. So in all, quite an successful event for IIA and both the colleges coming together. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank IIA Aurangabad chapter for bringing out such a novel idea of documenting philosophies, theories and projects of renowned architects across the nation, and giving an opportunity to the students of architecture to understand their work techniques, their principles, the various aspects of designing. It was a wonderful approach and attempt, and each and every student who has participated in the in competition in group or as an individual has given a wonderful attempt. The approach was marvelous. Students learnt a lot. They will follow this design principles, I believe that, and in the coming days we'll see change in their work pattern. It will be a great learning, and I expect that in the coming days IIA chapter Aurangabad again organizes such events so as to enhance the technical know-how of the students, and these presentations shall be played in the institutes so that rest of the students who could not witness it will also get an opportunity and chance to learn out of this presentation. I compliment each and everyone who was part of this entire approach and project. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for acknowledging and participating in this competition. I thank both the colleges who overwhelmingly participated, tried their hard, convinced the students and got the things done, and produced out of expectation whatever the result we are seeing today within a very small short span of time. It is a good attempt by all the students, and the idea to have this competition was to improve their thinking skills, their presentation techniques, and think above design and analyze things. I hope we have succeeded in quite a lot extent in this, and I hope they will all learn from this, and this trend would continue in their future presentations also. Thank you everyone for all those who have mentored me and helped me to get this thing a big success. Thank you very much.